The School of Medical Sciences at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology marks 50 years of excellence in medical education and healthcare innovation. The idea of a medical school in Kumasi emerged in the 1960s under the Vice-Chancellor Dr. 𝗓𝗡𝗵𝗏. By the early 1970s, the faculties of Science and Pharmacy proposed a Bachelor of Science in Human Biology to train future physicians, medical researchers, and laboratory technologists. Momentum grew in 1974 when Ghana's head of state, KNUST, officially declared the need for a second medical school at UST, with 𝗔𝗂𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗃 Hospital as the teaching hospital. The Vice-Chancellor at the time, Professor 𝗔𝗹𝘂𝗵𝗄𝗆, appointed a 5-member committee led by Professor F.A. Kofor to assess its feasibility. Other key members included Professor E.A. Jan, Dr. K.E.𝗶𝗄𝗆, Dr. 𝗔𝗹𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃, Professor W.N. Lane, Mr. A.S.Y. Ando, Dr. 𝗔𝗵𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃. The committee confirmed Ghana's urgent need for a second medical school, emphasizing the low doctor-to-patient ratio and the necessity for expanding healthcare services nationwide. The school, established in 1975, launched its Bachelor of Science in Human Biology program as a foundation for medical, scientific, and laboratory training. The first class of 21 students began in October 1975.
But a part of the first batch of people who were awarded the 𝗔𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃 by the University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. Some of our classes were in the general academic area, and then there were others who were at the art faculty, and so it was quite a distance moving from one end to the other. And because we were joining other classes, the classes couldn't wait for us, so we ended up attending most of the classes quite late, and we missed quite a chunk of the information. The end of the second year was quite traumatic because half of the group did not do too well in anatomy, so we had to do the receipts again, and that became a sore point for everybody who had advocated for a start of the school in Kumasi. And there was a general impression that the Kumasi was not ready, and so we had to be moved to Accra. But the Asantehene, who was the chief advocate, then Nana Opoku-Ware II, he advocated and strongly pushed that we stay in Kumasi. So after going through the necessary receipts, our colleagues who did not do well in the anatomy section passed, and then we all moved on to our third year. By the time we got to the third year, the school was a little bit more structured, so it became easier to get the courses moving. We had a few more new lecturers joined the program, and things moved really well until we finished our third year. At the end of the third year, we had our degrees awarded. We had, out of the 26, by the end of the third year, we were left with 16 students.
Initially, clinical training took place at the University of Ghana Medical School, but in 1980, 𝗔𝗂𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 Teaching Hospital received accreditation, allowing students to complete their training in Kumasi. The first fully Kumasi-trained doctors graduated in December 1982.
The first batch, they are the de jure, or legally they are the pioneers. But they didn't complete their clinical training in Kumasi. They were taken to complete in the University of Ghana Medical School. But we, the second batch, after a lot of struggles and hard work, challenges, we completed the clinical training or the full medical training, the 𝗔𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃 in Kumasi at 𝗔𝗹𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗃 Teaching Hospital. So we proudly say that we are the de facto pioneers of KNUST Medical School. In those days, there were a number of challenges. I must admit that the goodwill, the determination, the enthusiasm was there, but there were rare challenges. Fitting into a system that had already established itself was being housed. So we were like perching, even for lectures, for space, for practicals, and that we were perching, shuttling between the then biological science units under Faculty of Science, and then the chemistry block. You know where the chemistry block is? Just opposite the new College of Health Sciences building. That was where we were shuttling in. So in a typical day, for instance, you may start at the biological science block, meet your lectures, and then walk across from along Unity Hall, the stadium side, to what at that time we were calling Mecca. Yes.
Well, we had information from our embassy in Bonn that they were recruiting staff for the second medical school in Kumasi. So I attended an interview by Professor, I think Professor Lay was around, in Dsodorf, and that's how I got appointed. I remember one time the then dean, Professor 𝗏 came to my bungalow and said, "Kofi, I think you're going to teach physiology." I said, "But I've not trained for that." I said, who are the others? He said, Professor Champong and late Amonkoto. He gave us topics to handle. So we were teaching physiology, and that brought also problems. Because we didn't have a physiologist, we had accreditation problems with the British Medical Association. So later on, they were not actually accepting us, but our boys were passing the American exam to go to America. So later on, we trained Professor 𝗔𝗃𝗃𝗃 and late Professor Planchero to go and do physiology, and I think that solved the problems. We have grown fantastic. Yeah. Because now almost all the lecturers have their own offices. We have increased the number of pediatric stations, and recently mother and child clinic, and the research aspect has also increased. And our young lecturers then have improved themselves to become professors. So we are actually to ourselves.
We had before the school really settled, and after. Before it settled, when the school was known as the SMS, was described as School of Maximum Soma by the rest of the students. And it was because we had difficulty getting classrooms and lectures. So most of our periods were free periods. And at one stage, my roommates told me that if I wasn't sure it was a medical school, then I could go and take the exam and try the University of Ghana Medical School interview again. When we started, we were using the labs of biological science, then pharmacy. Because the pharmacists, they taught us almost everything. They started teaching us anatomy and pharmacology, physiology. So they were leading and teaching us most of the things. So we use their labs as it was for everybody to use labs. And then later on, we started developing labs, and biochemistry had a lab, and anatomy had a dissecting hall. But before we had this dissecting hall, we were dissecting at the mortuary 𝗔𝗂𝗂𝗺𝗔𝗃𝗃.
The School of Medical Sciences needed a physician for the accreditation of the school. And I was a physician. So I became the first physician to enter the School of Medical Sciences. I had gone to Tema to collect my goods from the harbor. And when I came back home, I saw the big SMS bus in front of my house. And in the bus was a driver, Professor Adi, and Mrs. Professor Adi. They had come to hand over my appointment letter as a lecturer of School of Medical Sciences, and also to bring my goods to Kumasi without my information. And while we were chatting, they were packing my things into the bus. And I realized that they were actually determined to bring me to Kumasi. So I came straight to the campus with my family.
Over the decades, KNUST School of Medical Sciences has grown significantly, training nearly 4,000 doctors and advancing medical education in Ghana. It has played a pivotal role in establishing the schools of public health, nursing and midwifery, and the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. In 2018, the school merged with the KNUST Dental School to form the School of Medicine and Dentistry, before regaining its independence in January 2024.
The anatomy department is the oldest, as you are well aware, the oldest department in the School of Medical Sciences. It is also unique in the university as the only department that teaches human anatomy to all the students of the College of Health Sciences and optometry students in the College of Science. I would say that we play a pivotal role in teaching anatomy, human gross anatomy, human microscopic anatomy, human developmental anatomy to undergraduate students pursuing medicine, dentistry, physician assistantship, emergency nursing, general nursing, herbal medicine, medical imaging, medical laboratory science, midwifery, optometry, physiotherapy and sports science, and even veterinary medicine in the School of Veterinary Medicine. We also teach applied human anatomy and applied reproductive anatomy to postgraduate students pursuing disability and rehabilitation studies, population and reproductive health, and public health nursing. The department has been very successful in motivating its students to develop a keen interest in human anatomy. This has been done through the identification of academically strong and weak students and spending considerable amount of time with them on a one-to-one basis. We have also established a special support tutorial system to increase the number of practical sessions and assessments for the academically weak foreign and local students.
Today, it continues to train undergraduate medical doctors, postgraduate medical scientists, and specialists in disciplines such as human anatomy, clinical microbiology, mental health, and molecular medicine.
It is with joy that today we all see SMS being 50, looking back at all the achievements of the school. We started in difficult times, but we've done well so far. Some of us who are alumni have come back to support the school to further raise the image of the school. So that on this occasion, all alumni, we are proud that the school has gotten so far, and that we know that there are many things the school can do in future. Importantly, we've trained so many manpower for the country and the world globally. Many alumni all over the world, including serving in Ghana as usual. And we thank you for all the professionalism that the school has been able to impart on us, that we're impacting to the rest of the world. So we ask that you join us for this celebration. Let us reminisce all the past and look forward to more years of the school serving the country and the global community at large.
As the school embarks on the next 50 years, it is worth to celebrate their dedication to excellence in medical education, research, and healthcare innovation, shaping the future of medicine in Ghana and beyond.